iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
Brian, first, I saw the film last night. Congratulations. I got to see it with practically the whole entire Broadway community, and we all went nuts for the film. So congratulations, first and foremost.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So when you got the call that you were going to be a part of the West Side Story film, what was the first thought that went through your mind?
I couldn't believe it, actually. I think there are because it's such an iconic show, whether you've seen it on stage or you've seen it, the original film, you have such an immediate identification of all the characters, let alone Krupke. Of course, that's everyone's first reaction is, who's playing Krupke? Hey, let's be honest. But my point is that we all have such specific ideas based on the things that we've seen. So I had to kind of like really think about, are you sure this is the right idea, me playing this role? Of course, that went away very quickly. And the answer was yes, I would love to do this. And the truth of the matter is that because Tony and Steven have really kind of redesigned the roadmap of this show in a lot of different ways and giving it kind of new life in all kinds of unexpected ways, it really allows for, a bit of a reimagination in terms of how that character serves within the fabric of the whole story. So I'm thrilled to be part of it.
I think my first thought was, can I even do this? I was just so shocked that I even got the role, and then it started to like hit me. Oh, I gotta like work now. I gotta really prepare and try and give it my best and try and live up to my own standards. So it was scary, but I was also really looking forward to the challenge and to working with some of these incredible people.
Mike, same question to you.
Well,
that was a reaction.
Yeah, basically. I mean, my getting the job was a little bit more like convoluted in the terms of like, is it not? I don't know. I know that I was shooting something in Atlantic City at the time, and it was a Friday, and I got a call from my agent being like, okay, yeah, they want you to rehearse on Monday. Will you be there? Like, okay, yeah, I guess we're doing this. So it was this very long, like it took, it was like 4 months of finally being like, yes, this is happening. And at that point, it's kind of like, okay, great, let's go. Let's do this.
We're doing this. And when you found out it was Stephen Sondheim and Tony Kushner combined together to create this retelling, because it's not a retelling of the movie, it's a retelling of the Broadway musical, first and foremost. Is it really being a part of the dream team of a retelling of West Side Story?
I think that's more than fair to say. Absolutely. Tony Kushner, who's one of the most heralded voices in the theater and literature right now. It was an honor to speak his words. If you spend time in the theater, you understand the contributions that he's made and will continue to make. Same with Stephen Sondheim. Obviously, his work is just masterful, and there's no debate about that. And of course, Steven Spielberg is no slouch either. His work is obviously something that people love, and he is an expert in what he does. So yes, the combination of all of these titans of craft is really kind of an unbelievable thing to say. Yeah, I worked with them on this.
It's legendary, and it's like, it's iconic. And the truth is that Stephen Sondheim was one of those artists that just was uncompromising. He was authentic. He stuck to himself in an industry where, sometimes you want to make compromises in order just to get your thing made, kind of a thing. He never did that. And West Side Story is an example of that. It's a complicated story with a lot of heart that comes from a very truthful and grounded place that allows conversations and dialogue. And it's an honor to be a part of something like that and to be a part of that man's legacy, truly.
I'm just honored that I'm a part of this project, and I'm a part of like this knowledge that's going to be passed down to the next generation. And I'm just a small piece in this beautiful puzzle that's happening. And I'm just so grateful that I can kind of like show this new generation that hasn't been able to see this story or feel this story, because it's one of those stories that'll resonate with everyone. And I know my sister, who's 21, she hadn't really heard of West Side Story before. And I know a lot of her friends hadn't heard of West Side Story before, and it's all coming to light now, and everyone wants to go see it. Everyone wants to be part of this journey now. And I think maybe in 50, 100 years, there's going to be another one that's going to be done by another amazing director, because this story needs to be brought to each generation, so we're reminded about love and about the dangers of fear and hatred.
Spielberg could have gone the direction of full Hollywood, but this is truly rooted in Broadway and the Broadway community. And having your career start in musical theater, does it give you just a sense of pride that this is such a lovely starting point for so many in the Broadway community?
Absolutely. Yeah, that sense of history is I'm very aware of that. And it's something that, you know, as the days go on, I'm really starting to feel the weight of that in the best way. And as you say, it is such a touchstone for so many people, whether you're in the theater or not. So many people have consumed and digested this story as just lovers of film or theater. But for those of us in the community who have decided to want to make their lives doing it, you know, these stories and the way these stories have been created and crafted mean the world to us. So for me to be a part of that now, as a member of the team that is carrying the baton in 2021, that is very, very special.
Look, it was smart, in my opinion.
It was,
in
yeah.
my opinion, that was very smart. That was a wise thing to do. They could have definitely, like you said, they could have gone a different route, and it would have just been different. And it's not that would have been bad or anything, but I think it just, I'm going to bring it back to Sondheim a little bit. This was a guy that stayed a part of the theater community here. Like, he saw everything, you know, up until his passing. He would go and he was a part of the community, and he never shied away from that. He never pushed his, you know, himself away from that. And Steven embraced that aspect, Spielberg. And, you know, I think by casting the way that he did, it embraces the story as a whole.
And what does it mean to you to be an actor that gets to really showcase West Side Story to a whole new generation that never saw the movie, probably has never seen a Broadway production, including the last revival? What does that mean to you that you're ushering in a new generation to the story of West Side Story?
It means a great deal to me, because it is introducing a whole new generation to not only a great story, but also what this kind of storytelling can be. And if people can get interested and excited by the fact that the way you can tell a story is through music and through dance, it just expands the world of people's appetite for what is possible artistically, and possibly wanting to go to the theater and try to understand how do they do it on a stage as opposed to on a film, in a film. So for me, that means a lot to me, because that's how I started becoming interested in this, just kind of looking up and watching films and seeing plays and musicals and thinking, that is the most glorious thing I've ever seen. How do they do that? Certainly with the likes of Spielberg, Tony Kushner, Stephen Sondheim, Leonard Bernstein, these are titans in their field. So the contribution that they're making with this is going to be undeniable for a whole new group of people who are going to watch it.
David, filming in New York City can't get more iconic than that. What was it like filming this West Side Story remake in New York City?
I mean, it was amazing. I remember shooting America out in the streets, and it was the energy you felt from just, you know, running down the street with the whole Puerto Rican community running behind you, and everyone's cheering. And it was just amazing to feel that energy, and to be literally out in the streets of New York and Washington Heights and dancing and singing and acting. Just, that's as glorious as it gets, I think.
And with Sergeant Krupke, I feel like in this retelling, he's a little bit more of an empathetic character, because he wants to create control in this neighborhood and in New York City, um, versus Lieutenant Schrank, who is kind of more of the taskmaster. Was it fun to take on this role and to work with this cast and to play this character right now in your career?
Yes, I'm glad you said that. That I think that's the way I saw it as well. I felt that Krupke is a guy who will toe the line and do what he's told, which is, you know, part of the system, which there's a robust conversation about what that means today in a lot of different ways, particularly when it comes to policing. But in terms of the specific character, I always felt that Krupke was a guy that was really just trying to make sure that these kids who are forced into the places that they're having to live their lives with not much, and taking it out on each other and themselves. You know, the empathy that he has for both the Sharks and the Jets is just, let's just keep you guys safe, and you know, let's keep this thing moving forward. So I'm glad you picked up on that, because that was something that I wanted to contribute in terms of my idea of Krupke. And of course, Stephen gave me a lot of different things that shine a light on that, if ever so briefly. For example, there's a moment at the end when Krupke is doing the job of helping Anita after the death of her beloved Bernardo, and you know, having to be a person in the community whose job it is to actually assist people in crisis and grief, and regardless of the color of their skin. You know, he's not going to do his job because of any bias or bigotry. It's a great, just fleeting moment of a man who's doing a good job, hopefully, is what I see it as being. So to be able to do that with this group of people, I did feel like a little bit of the old guy, because I swear that Steven Spielberg told all of the Jets to constantly harass me when the cameras weren't rolling. So the relationship I had with them was very well baked in by the time the camera started rolling, because there wasn't a moment where they weren't like poking me or stealing my shoes or like taking my hat and throwing it like a frisbee. It was annoying.
Well, and speaking of the cast, I feel like Spielberg could have gone the direction of full Hollywood, but this is truly rooted in Broadway and the Broadway community. And having your career start in musical theater, does it give you just a sense of pride that this is such a lovely starting point for so many in the Broadway community?
Absolutely. Yeah, that sense of history is I'm very aware of that. And it's something that, you know, as the days go on, I'm really starting to feel the weight of that in the best way. And as you say, it is such a touchstone for so many people, whether you're in the theater or not. So many people have consumed and digested this story as just lovers of film or theater. But for those of us in the community who have decided to want to make their lives doing it, you know, these stories and the way these stories have been created and crafted mean the world to us. So for me to be a part of that now, as a member of the team that is carrying the baton in 2021, that is very, very special.
Well, again, congratulations on the film. It's truly, truly a beautiful love letter to not just our industry, but the titans of musical theater that have come before us. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.